Every single morning, millions of people over 60 do something they believe is protecting their health. They wake up, they walk to the kitchen, and they prepare a drink. Maybe it is a protein shake. Maybe it is a collagen mix stirred into their coffee. Maybe it is one of those electrolyte beverages in a sleek bottle that promises hydration, recovery, muscle support, and better aging. The label is clean. The ingredients sound serious. The marketing is convincing, and the intention behind it is genuinely good. These are not careless people. These are people who researched, people who listened to their doctors, watched their diet, gave up fast food, reduced salt, started walking every day. People who decided that getting older did not have to mean falling apart. People who invested in their health with real money and real discipline. And that is exactly what makes what I am about to tell you so important. Because in my years working with older patients, I keep seeing the same pattern. People who are doing everything right. People who are careful, consistent, genuinely health conscious. And yet their labs come back with something unexpected. Creatinine rising. Kidney function declining. Quietly. Slowly. Without a single warning sign that anything was wrong. And when I start asking questions, when I start looking at the full picture of their daily habits, one thing keeps showing up. Not a medication, not a disease they ignored, not something obviously dangerous. A drink they believed was helping them age better. I want to be very clear from the beginning. This is not about fear. This is not about telling you that everything you are doing is wrong. Most of what you are doing is probably right. But there is a specific mechanism that changes after 60. A specific way that aging kidneys respond to certain types of liquid intake, and almost nobody is talking about it clearly. Not on the labels, not in the ads, not even in many cases in the doctor's office. That is what this video is about. By the end, you are going to understand exactly what is happening inside your kidneys when you consume concentrated liquid protein regularly. You are going to understand why timing matters more than most people realize. You are going to understand what the difference is between real hydration and the illusion of hydration. And you are going to have 3 simple, practical adjustments that you can start applying immediately without eliminating protein from your life, without abandoning the habits you have built. The danger here is not obvious. That is the problem. It is disguised as wellness. It looks like care. It feels like discipline. And that is precisely why it keeps causing damage for months or years before anyone connects the dots. If this channel has been giving you information that makes you think differently about your health after 60, subscribe right now. This conversation is just beginning. Now let me show you exactly what is happening. I want to tell you about a woman I will call Linda. Linda is 67 years old. Retired school teacher, lives in a quiet neighborhood, walks her dog every morning, tends to her garden in the afternoons. She does not smoke. She barely drinks alcohol. She reads the labels on everything she buys. She gave up processed food years ago and never looked back. By almost any measure, Linda is exactly the kind of person who should be aging well. A few years ago, Linda started noticing what she described as a general sense of slowing down. Not dramatic, not frightening. Just the quiet feeling that her muscles were not quite what they used to be, that she tired a little faster, that recovery from a long walk took a bit more out of her than it once did. She mentioned it to a friend who suggested protein supplementation. Her friend had been using a popular collagen drink every morning and swore by it. Linda did her research, read positive reviews, looked at the ingredients, and decided to try it. Within a few months, she had added a protein smoothie in the morning, a collagen mix in her afternoon coffee, and an electrolyte hydration drink after her walks. She felt like she was finally doing something proactive, something intelligent, something her body deserved. Then came a routine blood panel. Her creatinine was elevated. Her doctor looked at the numbers, looked at her, and said something that stopped her cold. Her kidney function was declining, quietly, steadily, without a single symptom she could have pointed to. No pain, no swelling she had noticed, no dramatic change in how she felt day to day. just a number on a page that told a story her body had never announced out loud. She looked at me and said something I have never forgotten. "I thought I was doing something good for my body." That sentence stays with me because it is the sentence I hear most often in situations like this. Not from careless people, from careful ones, from people who were trying. So let me explain what was actually happening inside Linda's body, because once you understand the mechanism, everything starts to make a different kind of sense. Your kidneys are remarkable organs. 2 of them, each about the size of a fist, sitting quietly in your lower back, filtering your entire blood supply dozens of times every single day. They remove waste, they regulate fluid balance, they manage minerals, they help control blood pressure. They do all of this without asking for anything, without making a sound, without ever sending you a notification that they are working harder than usual. Now here is what changes after 60. And this is the part almost nobody explains clearly. Your kidneys lose functional reserve naturally as you age. This is not a disease. This is not damage. It is biology. The filtration capacity that was abundant at 30 is measurably reduced at 65. Your kidneys can still do their job under normal conditions, but their ability to handle sudden surges, concentrated loads, unexpected metabolic demands, that buffer shrinks. The margin for error gets smaller. Think of it this way. Imagine a water filtration system that has been running continuously for 60 years. The filters still work, the pump still runs, but the system that once could handle a sudden flood of input now takes longer to process the same volume. Push too much through too fast, and the pressure builds. The backlog accumulates, and because the system has no alarm, no warning light, no way to signal distress, everything looks fine from the outside while the strain quietly mounts inside. That is your aging kidney processing a concentrated liquid protein load every single day. When you consume protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids and uses them for repair, muscle maintenance, and dozens of other functions. But protein metabolism generates nitrogen waste, specifically urea and creatinine, and your kidneys are responsible for filtering those waste products out of your blood and excreting them in your urine. That is normal. That is what they are designed to do. The problem is not protein itself. The problem is concentrated protein delivered in liquid form, absorbed rapidly, arriving at the kidneys in a surge rather than a gradual flow, repeatedly, day after day, in a system whose filtration reserve has already naturally declined. The National Kidney Foundation has been clear for years that aging kidneys are more vulnerable to metabolic stress, and that high protein intake may increase what researchers call intraglomerular pressure in people with reduced kidney reserve, which is a condition that affects far more people over 60 than most realize, often without any diagnosis, often without any symptoms. Gota. A gota. Day after day, without making a sound. That is how the damage accumulates. Not in a single dramatic moment, in the quiet repetition of a habit that felt like health. Now here is where most people get surprised, because the problem is rarely just one thing. It is a combination of habits that individually seem harmless, but together create a level of renal stress that an aging kidney was never designed to absorb on a daily basis. And each layer of this is more unexpected than the last. The first thing almost nobody realizes is how invisible liquid protein overload actually is. When you eat a large steak, your body knows it. You feel full. You slow down. There is a physical sensation of enough. But when you drink a protein shake, that same feedback system barely activates. Liquid moves through your stomach faster. The satiety signals are weaker. The perception of volume is lower. So people consume protein drinks without any internal signal telling them they have had enough, and they do this on top of the protein they are already eating through meals. The Mayo Clinic has noted that many older adults are consuming significantly more protein than their kidneys can comfortably process, not because they are being reckless, but because liquid supplementation makes it genuinely difficult to perceive the total load being placed on the body. You do not feel like you had too much. You feel like you had a healthy drink. and your kidneys, quietly, disagree. This is the part that surprises people most. Your kidneys do not read marketing labels. They do not know that the container said grass-fed, or that the collagen was hydrolyzed, or that the electrolytes were sourced from the Himalayas. They only know one thing: how much work they are being asked to do. And concentrated liquid protein asks for a great deal of work, repeatedly, without rest. But that is only the first layer. The second thing almost nobody connects is the timing of consumption. And this one changes everything when you understand the mechanism. Many people over 60 eat relatively little during the day. A light breakfast, a modest lunch, and then, in the evening, they compensate. A large dinner. A protein smoothie after the meal. A collagen drink before bed. Sometimes a casein shake specifically marketed for overnight muscle repair. The label promising that the slow-release protein will feed your muscles while you sleep. What those labels do not mention is what happens to your kidneys while you sleep. At night, your body slows its metabolic rate significantly. Blood flow to the kidneys decreases. The filtration rate drops. Your kidneys shift into a quieter mode, maintaining basic functions but operating well below their daytime capacity. This is normal and healthy. The body is conserving energy. The system is resting. Now imagine delivering a concentrated protein load into that resting system. The nitrogen waste still has to be processed. The creatinine still has to be filtered. But the kidneys are running at reduced capacity, like a factory operating with a skeleton night crew suddenly receiving the full daytime shipment. The work gets queued, the pressure builds, and this happens night after night, quietly, while you sleep, while you believe the protein is feeding your muscles. The Cleveland Clinic has documented the connection between nighttime metabolic burden and kidney stress in older adults, particularly in patients who consume high-protein supplements in the hours before sleep. The kidneys remember every shift. And then there is the third layer, the one that genuinely shocks people when they hear it. Many people over 60 believe they are hydrating well. They carry their wellness drinks. They sip their electrolyte beverages throughout the day. They choose the mineral water with added magnesium. They drink the green-tinted hydration formula that promises cellular recovery. And they feel virtuous doing it. They feel like they are taking care of themselves in a sophisticated, informed way. But here is what the National Institute on Aging has made increasingly clear in recent years. Thirst perception declines significantly with age. People over 60 frequently do not feel thirsty even when their bodies are meaningfully dehydrated. This means they are already at a hydration disadvantage before they even reach for a drink. And when the drink they reach for is a sweetened electrolyte beverage, or a protein-forward hydration formula, or a mineral-heavy wellness drink, they are not giving their kidneys what those kidneys most need to flush waste efficiently. They are giving them more work disguised as help, more minerals to process, more compounds to filter, more metabolic residue to clear. Real kidney hydration requires real water. Volume: clean, simple, abundant water that gives the filtration system the fluid it needs to move waste through efficiently. Electrolyte drinks have their place, but they do not replace water. And when they begin to substitute for water in the daily routine, the kidneys lose their most essential resource precisely when they are being asked to do more work than ever. Liquid overload is the easiest kind to ignore, because it never feels like too much. It always feels like care. Now let me stop here for a moment, because what I am about to share goes beyond what this video alone can cover. This video is addressing the symptom, the daily liquid habits that quietly stress aging kidneys. But the full picture, the complete system of how kidneys age, how creatinine accumulates, how to protect filtration function across every area of your life, that requires a dedicated guide built specifically for people over 60 who want to protect their independence and their health for the long term. If you are someone who takes your health seriously, who is not willing to leave these decisions to chance, that guide exists. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. There is also a QR code visible on your screen right now if you are watching from a TV. Access it now, while this information is fresh and the decision still feels urgent, because the kidneys that are quietly working for you today deserve that level of attention. Now let me show you exactly what you can do starting tomorrow morning. The good news, and I want you to hear this clearly, is that Linda did not have to give up protein. She did not have to choose between protecting her muscles and protecting her kidneys. What she needed to do was simpler than she expected. 3 adjustments. That is all. The first is to question whether your body actually needs supplemental protein in liquid form at all. Many people over 60 are consuming protein supplements based on guidelines developed for athletes or post-surgical patients. The average older adult eating regular meals with eggs, fish, chicken, or legumes is already meeting their protein requirements. The supplement adds a concentrated layer on top of an already sufficient foundation. When Linda tracked her actual intake across a full week, she discovered she was consuming nearly twice what her body was realistically using. The excess was not building muscle. It was generating waste, and her kidneys were paying the price of processing that waste every single day. The first adjustment is simply to audit, to look honestly at your total daily intake and ask whether the supplement is filling a real gap or creating an invisible burden. The second adjustment is about distribution. If you do need supplemental protein, the timing matters enormously to your kidneys. Delivering 30 or 40 grams in a single liquid dose creates a concentrated surge that an aging filtration system struggles to process efficiently. Spreading that same amount across 3 or 4 smaller portions throughout the day, preferably through whole food rather than shakes, gives the kidneys time to work steadily rather than in crisis mode. A river handles a steady, consistent flow without flooding. Pour the same volume all at once and the banks collapse. Your kidneys operate on the same principle. The third adjustment sounds almost too simple. Drink more water. Real water. Not electrolyte formula. Not wellness beverages with added minerals or protein compounds. Water. The kidneys need clean volume to flush nitrogen waste efficiently. The American Kidney Fund specifically recommends that older adults monitor fluid intake closely, because the age-related decline in thirst perception means the body will not reliably signal dehydration before it becomes meaningful. Linda made all 3 adjustments over 6 weeks. She reduced her morning protein shake to 3 days a week. She moved her collagen supplement to midday instead of before bed. She replaced 1 electrolyte drink daily with 2 additional glasses of water. Her creatinine stabilized. Her kidney function markers improved at the next blood panel. She said something I have thought about many times since. I thought healthy automatically meant harmless. I never questioned it because the intention felt so right. The intention was right. The habit needed refinement. And that distinction is exactly what protecting your health after 60 requires. If you have stayed with me this far, you understand something most people in your situation do not. The complete guide to protecting kidney function after 60 covers everything this video cannot, including medications, sleep patterns, blood pressure habits, and the exact markers to request at every doctor visit. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. There is also a QR code visible on your screen right now for anyone watching from a television. Access it now. The kidneys you protect today are the ones that will keep you independent tomorrow. The choice is yours. Protecting your kidneys after 60 is not about fear. It is about asking better questions. Does my body actually need this amount? Is this drink replacing water? Am I consuming this at the right time? Those 3 questions, applied consistently, are more powerful than any supplement label. The people who age well are not the ones who consume the most. They are the ones who consume intelligently, who understand that more is not always safer, who know that the kidneys remember every daily overload, silently, without complaint, until the numbers on a blood panel finally tell the truth. Protecting your kidneys is not just about living longer. It is about staying independent longer, staying mobile, staying clear, staying yourself. If this video gave you something valuable, please like it and subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. Write the word kidneys in the comments below if you want more videos about silent habits that affect your health after 60. I read every single one. In the next video, we are going to look at another daily habit that may be quietly affecting kidney function in ways almost nobody connects. Share this right now with someone you love who is over 60 and takes their health seriously. They may be doing exactly what Linda was doing. Subscribe so the next conversation finds you. This is what informed aging looks like.